Okay everybody, welcome to another C4 Corvette video. So, you haven't seen a video on this car for a long time. There's two reasons for that. One, I've been working on my other cars like the Cadillac. You've seen the videos. I finally got that back on the road. If you're on Instagram, you've seen that I put a new windshield in my convertible. But the other reason is because I've been driving it. So, in my opinion, the best way to find out what's wrong with your car is to go ahead and drive it. But I have a huge list here of all the little things that bug me on this car. Now, I won't include all of these things in this video, but it'll give you kind of a preview of what to expect next on this C4. The first and probably most obvious thing that needs to be done is carpet, okay? So I've replaced the carpet on these doors just because I got around to it and then I ran out of time. But you can see the difference in the color between that and those. So the rest of the carpet's just filthy. So it's original to the car, obviously needs to go. I replaced all the weather stripping except for the weather stripping in this door. Again, that needs to be replaced. This steering wheel, I ended up buying another one. I don't really know what's underneath this cover, but based on stuff like that, I'm pretty sure it's, that's just trash. But one of the main thing that bugs me the most is the shifter. So it's really clunky, and sometimes it's hard to get back into first gear. It goes clunk, clunk, like that. Right now it's not too bad because I'm not really shifting anything, but these shifters are external to the transmission. So all the 5 and 6 speeds that everybody's used to, all the linkages are inside and they get lubed. These ones are outside, so I've yet to crawl into the car and see if any of the shift rods, there's 3 separate shift rods, see if any of those are loose. So we'll just have to see. That's just one more thing. Another thing is I got the blower motor for the heater working, and then now it won't. So I replaced a relay to do that. So we'll see. I gotta troubleshoot that again to get that to work. This shift console needs redone. Actually, all these plastic pieces need redone. I'm planning on doing that as well. Let's see. If you look above me and the inside, these obviously not for this car because they talk about airbags, and when you put them down they hit the visor. So some dum-dum decided it was a good idea to put these in out of some other car, who knows what. I have another set of visors to put in, and the other dumb thing is when they tried to take them out, they ended up breaking that piece. So I also have that piece to do. Now under the hood we do still have some work to do, okay? First, and what I'll probably do today is a brake fluid flush. Now I'm going to gravity bleed the brakes because I'm by myself. But if you look, yeah, obviously that hasn't been changed in years, so we're going to get to doing that. Another thing which I'll make a separate video for is these fuel injectors. These are the original Moltec crappy piece of junk ones. I have a set of Bosch 3 fuel injectors. Run a little higher fuel pressure, but they're awesome. A third thing is we'll obviously have a coolant leak right here by the T-stat housing, but the previous owner of this car, after he put in this brand new motor, decided it was a really good idea to put in the coolant that's called Evans, okay? If any of you guys have heard of Evans coolant, basically it's a waterless coolant. It's kind of a brown color. The problem is it's like $50+ a gallon, so I'm just going to go ahead and drain it all and put in regular coolant. I don't care if it runs a little bit hotter. To me, it makes no sense to have coolant that costs so much. Last is another drivability issue, which is this throttle. So, it kind of sticks. Like right there, you kind of heard it go clink. Right now it's not doing it because I pushed it a bunch of times, but it kind of sticks. And so when you push on the gas pedal, you push, 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 and it goes clunk. And so it's not difficult to get into first gear, but it makes it more of a challenge. It's not as smooth as you would expect, so I need to go ahead and look at that. And then from there, I just need to go over everything with a fine-tooth comb. I wasn't the one who put this motor in, so I need to check timing. I need to check spark plug wires, make sure there's no misses, stuff like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the brake bleed. In investigating the best way to bleed these brakes, I noticed something very sad. So if you look right here, you'll see there's a leak out the back of this master cylinder. So I checked first these lines and connections here, there's no leaks. And I checked around these seals on the reservoirs, and there's no leaks in those either. So it's bad enough that I think I'm going to have to replace the master, which kind of sucks because that's expensive. Here's another view from under the car. You can see on the bottom of the booster, you can actually see a drip forming. And it's running down all of this and then back onto the jack stand. So it's enough of a leak that I'm definitely worried about it. But, you know, it's one of those things that you just have to do. Oh, there's another drip, yep. In order for your car to be safe, so it's worth spending the money. Since O'Reilly's doesn't have the master cylinder in stock and I really don't have anybody else to help me with the brakes, we're going to put that on hold. And instead, what I'm going to try to do is see if I can't fix the sticky throttle. So, looking in there, it does look decent. It's not as gummed up as I thought it was going to be. But I still have that sticky throttle to deal with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unplug all these lines, they're cables that go to the throttle body, and see if it's still sticky after that. So I have unhooked this, which I believe has something to do with the overdrive. It's not automatic, so there's no kickdown cable. And then this is the gas pedal, and then all that's left is just the cruise control. So interesting thing, the only other thing that would bind this up is this throttle position sensor. I believe that's what this is. And it seems like it moves pretty well. So if I go ahead and hold this down and then move the throttle, it still has that little sticky. So sad to say, I think I'm going to have to go ahead and remove the throttle body and at least look behind it and see if there's anything binding it up, because yeah, that's got to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all this stuff and take it off, and we'll go from there. Of course, there are always idiots who work on these cars. You check out these bolts. If that'll focus. They're like super duper stripped. And of course, they just use pliers to tighten them up around the outside edges. Another thing I noticed is I don't know if this can be adjusted up or down, but it doesn't look like it's adjusted right. I don't like it, at least, so let's go ahead and take it off. Right, so I got the throttle body off, and there's still that little catch. I don't think it has to do with any of the external stuff. I think it's just dirty in there and it sticks. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it and clean it up. And since I'm already doing this, I might as well do the fuel injectors since that's next. So yeah, it turned into fuel injector time. So the plenum is off. Now these vary from 85 all the way to 91. For example, there's a sensor on the bottom of the plenum that I didn't know about because I didn't work on something this old before. But let me go ahead and show you. There's bolts here that need to be taken off, both sides of the plenum, and then let me go to the plenum. Vacuum lines here. There's that sensor I was talking about. There's another vacuum, it's your brake booster vacuum right here in the back. So just remember about those before you do this. But you have to take off your throttle cables, and then that's the cover for the distributor. But it really does just come right out. It's kind of tight in the beginning. But now what I'm going to do is, this is your fuel rail. So it comes up here, it makes pretty much a big square, and it connects to all the injectors and the return lines right here. So I'm going to disconnect here. And then, of course, they didn't put the two bolts back that they need to. Stupid people. And then there's a bolt here, here, and here, and the whole thing should lift up. And then you should be able to access all the fuel injectors down here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark all the connectors, make sure I match up the same ones when I put the new ones in. And then before I put it all back together, I'm going to take care of this thermostat gasket and then flush all the coolant out. You can tell it's leaking like crazy even with the car just sitting. So yeah, it's going pretty fast. I'm hoping to be able to replace all the ejectors one by one without taking these runners off. That way it's a little bit easier of a job. So I began to drain the coolant. I mean, honestly, to me this looks like really super dirty water, but it actually, I believe it is that Evans coolant stuff that's supposed to be waterless. I don't like it. I mean, the way I see it, if I want to see a drip and it's green, I know it's coolant. So I ended up pulling the all the fuel injectors are out. So the guy that owned this before me had fuel injector issues, and then he only replaced 2 of the 8. If you look right here, you can tell that one is new and this one is old. So, I mean, the way I see it, look, if you have 2 injectors that are going bad, it's probably means that the other ones are going to go bad too, at least fairly soon. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in. These are the Bosch 3 fuel injectors. I believe they're 24-pound injectors, but I put them in 2 of my other family C4s, and they've actually worked really, really well. The car starts faster, and yeah, good stuff. So the other thing that I want to show you guys is this car. I thought it ran really cool, and I think the reason why is, yeah, they had 195-degree thermostat, which is what you're supposed to have, but this thermostat was stuck open because of these tangs inside the thermostat. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a new one, hopefully without these. That way it'll open and shut like it's supposed to. I don't know. It's not the first time I've seen that happen. So, you know, step by step it's coming along. So coolant and fuel injectors are what's going to be done first, and then we'll go all along that whole list and continue on with that. The best way I can figure out how to get all this Evans waterless garbage out of the car is to use a hose. So you have to remember that the block is still full of that stuff. Even if you drain the radiator, you're still going to have, you know, that coolant left in your block. The radiator should be okay, you know, the water pump, all that kind of stuff. But what I'm doing is I'm filling it at the highest spot, which is the thermostat, and I'm watching down here on the lowest spot as it drains, so I can be able to see when it starts turning clear. And that's how it's going to drain, and then I'm going to fill it up. I mean, obviously some water will be left from the hose, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not pulling a freeze plug. So yep, it's going to have green coolant once again. What I also plan on doing is taking this upper radiator hose, putting water down that, so that way the radiator gets flushed. This way the block will get flushed, and then I'm also going to put water down this heater hose, so it goes to the heater core, flushes that out, and then back to the water pump, where hopefully we have the block, the pump, the radiator, the upper and lower hoses all get flushed, and we have no more of that Evans stuff in it. What I plan on doing is running it till the stream coming out is clear. So I think I got a little bit more to go.